Joining us at the table this morning is the very funny man, Billy Gardell from, you know him, of course, on the Mike and Molly Show. It's a show that you can actually catch right here every day on the U. Incredibly funny with the stand-up as well, which we will be telling you where you can find that at. But for now, Billy, welcome on in.
Well, thank you for having me back. Deep dish, I thought we were going to have a little pizza here.
I know we tricked you.
I got tricked.
I saw the disappointment.
That's like in a cartoon when they throw the food on a stick and that's how they got me down here. I thought it was going to be deep dish.
He's leaving now.
Thank you for having me back.
It's so great to have you here. And I know in Chicago, the connection you have to Chicago, and you play a Chicago cop on the show. Yeah. What does Chicago mean to you?
I love the sensibility of the city. I'm actually from Pittsburgh, but I have a lot of friends here, and
Very similar though in blue collar.
I lived here for a while, and the thing I like about Chicago and Pittsburgh especially is, and I think even this region, our sarcasm is better than the East or West Coast, in my opinion, because there's a little scoop of sugar with it, so it's not so abrasive. And I love the healthy, don't take yourself seriously vibe, and of course the food in this town is ridiculous.
It's unbelievable.
Ridiculous.
Believable.
When you get to 50, that's all you talk about food like you did women. You're just like, oh, you know who got good bread? You know who has good bread?
It's a 5-piece of bread right there.
There's a lot of good bread here. Okay, so first of all, I have to say you literally look the same of what you did
Not
in
bad,
your video.
Right?
Yes.
Well, you have a good makeup kid back there, Earl.
Earl's the best.
Earl took care of me.
He's the best. So let's talk Melissa McCarthy. She was just at the Oscars.
Yes.
So do you guys still talk?
Oh God, yes, absolutely. Our whole cast still talks. But we were all over 40 when we hit with Mike and Molly.
Nice.
So nobody was crazy. Everybody's like, hey, we got good parking, we got coffee. There's insurance.
Good insurance.
The kids are going to private school, and then nobody wrecked this. But no, she's absolutely lovely. I was rooting for her. I texted her before the Oscars and said, I'm rooting for you. We're Team Melissa. And she's like, I'm just happy to be nominated. And I don't care about it. We're rooting for you. We're rooting for you. So she's just been amazing to watch. Her career's been incredible. And when we did Mike and Molly, like I said, you know, I still, like the guy who played my partner, Carl Reno.
Of course.
We've been friends. We were friends for 10 years before that show happened, which is why that's so apparent in the show. Yeah. But the whole cast, like nobody was crazy. And Melissa, like when her star took off, she just came to work, same girl. She's the same
That's what's so cool.
Yeah.
I remember you sharing some similarities with the story there because you said there's no egos.
No.
And it was a fun-loving group, and that's what was portrayed on the camera.
And I think when people genuinely like each other, I think it comes through the screen, and I don't think that happens that often, and I think that's what makes sitcoms special.
Yeah, no question. It is a special
and definitely waking up every day and going to work.
Right? How about that? Every time that gate pass worked, I got excited. I'm like, they're going to let me on the lot again today. You're getting on today again.
All right, so let's get into it. We talked about deep dish. There is no pizza, as we've covered, so we apologize about that.
I'll stay anyway.
But you're going to stay around. And Billy, we're curious. The phrase "How are you?" is that one that you use?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I think most decent people do.
Yeah. Or how you doing?
I don't know how you're gonna feel about this because they're saying in this Harvard study, those are the 3 most useless words in the world of communication. So that's according to Harvard researchers who are smarter than at least maybe me. I don't know about the 2 of you. They're saying that's a person asking who doesn't really want to know, and the person responding doesn't tell the truth. So what follows is a lost opportunity and meaningless exchange.
I don't believe any of that.
Okay.
I think if there's genuineness in your eyes and you ask and then you take a minute to listen, I think that goes a long way.
I agree with you.
There's a couple of dudes in Harvard. Who
can relate to those guys anyway?
Living in a bubble with a lab coat. Come on.
I actually tried to slow down.
How are you, Chicago?
I try to slow down. Oh, wait, we should pause and wait for their response.
See?
I actually try to slow down, though, and take a little time to actually mean the question and listen to what the person has to say. Because sometimes you'll be surprised what they do say. Somebody might actually share and not just say good or fine, and then you could say what's wrong. Like, we need to take that time in society for people to express themselves and for us to help each other out.
I agree with that. Where kindness has been beat into the corner lately, and so it doesn't cost nothing to be nice. Take the chance.
Yes.
And here's the simple rule for how are you: don't ask if you don't mean it.
Yeah, right.
Keep your mouth shut.
Exactly.
My grandmother would say, keep
well, Billy,
your mouth shut.
That's what's so interesting to me is you're a friend of the show. We've had you on a few times, and like we said, he appears here on the U. Is you are very much a Midwestern guy. Like that's why I think you relate to us.
I'm a Pittsburgh guy. I'm down to earth.
And you're not so Hollywood. Like you don't have like this veneer over you that we got to break down in order to get.
I
the
have
real
a
Billy.
veneer, but I'm trying to break it down.
I'm right with you there.
No, we like that veneer.
That's what I mean in this conversation of the how are you could be empty, but not relatable to us because that's not who we are. Do you experience in Hollywood some of the superficial that, on the outside looking in, I imagine there's going to be a lot of it.
I think there's superficial in everything. And I think anytime, in big business, there's superficial. It doesn't matter. I think it's who you are as a person. And it doesn't matter where your geographic is. Okay. I think it's how you conduct yourself. Mm-hmm. And you have to decide, which wolf you want to feed. You want to be the self-centered wolf, or you want to be the service wolf. The service wolf, it's a better life.
Yeah, I love that because my pet peeve with conversation is, and I went back in my single days when I'd be on dates, and you're asking all the questions, and then you sit there and say, am I ever going to be asked a question here? Like, is there any interest on the other side? And I think that's that whole give and take in conversation.
Well, people are afraid to take that chance to open up. Now, see, I've been married for 17 years. So thank God that one woman had mercy on me, because I can't imagine trying to date now. It's just a crazy world, because there's 14 email things you got to do before you go out there. I got buddies that tell me about the nightmare of this, and then you get up and you meet the person that's not that person. So I'm glad I kind of met her in an old-fashioned way.
Well, Felicia knows I'm going to ask this because I do every time somebody who's been married for a long time.
Sure.
I'm getting married in June.
Fantastic.
Any advice for a guy who's...
What is her name?
Her name is Shay.
Shay. Okay, I wish you the best, Shay, and I'm going to give you guys 2 pieces of great advice. Shay, be patient. You be quiet.
There we go.
Together a long time.
That's 17 years of success right there.
All right, let's talk about this. So Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Tesla founder Elon Musk, 2 different people.
Very.
But you wouldn't be able to tell it because the internet, being the internet, they discovered that the 2 kind of look alike. Here they are right here.
I gotta see.
Elon kind of looks okay in the Baywatch, The Rock look to the left right there.
They put a space
I don't
on the
think I
Rock's
would
body.
mistake those dudes.
No.
I think I would know exactly who I was talking to.
All right, has anyone ever confused you for another celebrity?
When I was a little younger, Kevin James. Got that a couple times. Jay Leno always teases me about that. And then when I was probably about 10 years ago, I got confused for John Goodman. Which was all right.
I can see Kevin James.
Kevin James I got early on him.
We have the same facial structure, too.
Yeah,
like, I can
and
see
you're both
that.
funny.
Yeah, both very funny guys.
When I was younger.
You don't look much different in that picture than you do now. That's not much younger.
That's a little bit younger.
It's Sans mustache.
Yes, this is for my new role. So I had to grow the mustache. And I played Detroit compression sock salesman. So it had to be a little
interesting,
kind of old school and not quite hip, and so it's kind of been fun to do this. My son just looks at it like, "Oh man, do you look like a dad?" And it's working.
Son?
My son's 15.
Okay, nice.
Yep, absolutely. He's doing good. He wants to get into the family business. I said I'm all for it, but you got to get a college degree, because nobody else in the family has one. That's number 1. And number 2, you got to have a little backup plan. I think, they tell you, you hear that when you're young, you need no backup plan. I think that's not true.
But did you know that you wanted to be an actor when you were 15, when you were a young kid?
I knew I wanted to be a stand-up at 9 years old.
Okay.
And then around 12, I knew I wanted to do sitcoms. And my dad turned me on to the Honeymooners when I was younger.
Oh, yeah.
And then all the great ones through the 70s with All in the Family and the Jeffersons and MASH. And I just loved all of that. And I took right to it. So I had my goal early. And I didn't realize what a gift that is. I got buddies my age that still don't quite know what they want to do. Yeah. So it was a gift to know what I wanted to do.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
I knew early. To have the backup plan or that degree, because you don't know. Think you want to be in this business.
It's a 1 in a zillion shot, exactly. But
yeah.
I told him, I said, there's a lot of ways in this industry that you can make a comfortable living. Learn set design, learn lighting, learn directing. So have your backup plan.
I always love to ask this when we have celebrities come in, as you mentioned.
I'm like B- at best.
You're a celebrity, my friend.
B-.
Here at the U, you're a big deal. One of our top-rated shows.
B-.
Absolutely. Who's somebody that you've rubbed shoulders with, as you mentioned, Jay Leno, kind of bust you about looking like Kevin James?
Oh, yeah, he's fun.
Somebody that you met during your career and your path where you were like blown away, like, wow, that's really cool.
I got to do a movie that wasn't a big hit early on in my career. I think it opened and closed on the same flight, but It was called Avenging Angela, but I got to work with Anthony Quinn right before he passed away.
Yeah.
And I got
Legend.
to work, and Sylvester Stallone was in that movie. And for someone who had never done anything, to be
pretty big stuff.
doing a scene with those two guys, I was like, yeah, did I say that right? Are you guys okay with that? But it was an honor. They were both very kind to me.
Yeah,
Very
I feel like that same humility still carries you through today.
Hey man, that's it. I told you, my wife keeps me grounded. I always tell her I'm very impressed with how unimpressed she is.
Hey, can't go wrong with a good woman.
That's right.
Well, Billy Gardell, he's performing at the Improv in Schaumburg tonight through Sunday. You guys clear your schedules and head on out. Head on over to chicago.improv.com for more ticket info to get a good night out.
That's right. Plus, check out Mike and Molly. Do it on the U. Do it weeknights at 6 and 6:30.